What's up, Prospects for Success podcast? My name is Quentin.
And I'm Michael.
And this is Prospects for Success podcast, where we bring you our thoughts on Prospect League baseball.
News, notes, opinions, and our favorite happenings.
Thanks for joining us for episode 11. So, the Champion Series is on. The Chillicothe Paints defeated the Illinois Valley Pistol Shrimp to take the Eastern Conference Championship. And the Alton River Dragons have won their Western Conference Championship in their only second season in the league, beating the Quincy Gems in a wild one as Eric Brockmeyer hit a walk-off grand slam for an 8-7 victory, setting up a very interesting final series.
Yeah, this is for all the struggles that some teams had just having enough players to get on the field. These playoff games have been fantastic. There have been some really, really good games, some really good baseball being played. It's been great to see this when frankly, there's been some trouble with some teams having enough players just to finish out the season.
Yeah, I mean, you saw West Virginia there. Some of their players had to go home. Zachary Doss had to go home. Kobe Tweeton had to go home. And for the Paints, some of their players had to go home. Ben Gabor left.
Owen Wilson's had a soft cast on his hand, and he's been a big part of their infield. Cade Root was absolutely crushing the ball and just playing a pretty good outfield for them. And suddenly he had to drop off, and so it's been tough. But the teams, everybody has had to deal with some injuries or some player departures, but they're the teams that have been able to fill in and made it. Made it through the first round of the playoffs and have made it now to the championship are still really playing some fantastic baseball. There's some great baseball being played.
Yeah, I mean, just to see how the Alton River Dragons have made it to the finals, that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, they tore it up at the very beginning of the season. They rattled off a ton of wins early on. But they had some trouble in the second half, and so I was really kind of surprised that they made the finals. But man, they're playing some fantastic baseball. We talked about Eric Brockmeyer and just the way that he is just killing the ball in the first playoff, in the first finals series game with the Paints. He was still just killing the ball. The Paints they managed to do a great job of, the home run that he hit was a leadoff solo home run. So it didn't hurt him. But man, this is a guy that you just, as an opposing team, you do not want to see him come to the plate right now because he's going to do some damage.
Yeah. As you're talking about that first game, I mean, that was a really good first game. Eric Brockmeyer, I think he's definitely carried the Alton River Dragons. He's been really good, and like you said, the Alton River Dragons have struggled. They struggled in the second half of the Prospect League, but they were really able to come back from that struggle and definitely take it all and beat They beat the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes. They beat Quincy. And now, I mean, they're going up against a pretty tough team in Chillicothe, too. They won it in 2019 recently. They were so close in beating the Kings last year. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Chillicothe took this just because they've been dominating all season. But, yeah, I mean, Alton does have a chance. Every team in the division of the Prospect League has a chance of doing something and winning a championship. It's not like they're out for the count yet.
No, yeah, and you mentioned the Paints winning it, in 2019, and this is kind of what happened then. The Paints lost the first game at home, and then went on the road and won two. So, the Paints have won on the road, and now the next two games are going to be at VA Memorial Stadium. And we could see the same thing happen where, the Alton River Dragons could come in here and win two in a row and take the championship. We've mentioned how, Eric Brockmeyer has kind of carried the team, and it's one thing for a player to be so good that they can win, a game on their own, which that absolutely can happen in baseball. But and one distinction that can be made sometimes between good players and great players. A good player can go out and win a game. A great player can really help or even just, inspire the rest of the players on the team to play better. And suddenly, and that suddenly makes a team better. And I think we're seeing that with Eric Brockmeyer for the Alton River Dragons right now, but I also think we're seeing that with Tim Orr on the Chillicothe Paints. This is a guy that has done absolutely everything he's been asked to do. He has played so many different positions for the Paints, and then suddenly in the first playoff game, the Paints were a little short on infielders, and who starts at shortstop for the first time that I remember this entire season? Tim Orr. And not only does he do that, he comes in and he swings the bat great, and he makes a couple of just really good defensive plays. I mean, he did look like he wasn't entirely comfortable at shortstop, which is absolutely understandable. It's a tough position just to go into and play. But he made some really good plays. That the typical shortstop in the league may be, those may be 50-50 plays. And Tim Orr made a couple of those plays that really helped them win that first game against Alton.
Yeah, I mean, you have a couple leaders on that team so far. I mean, you got, my opinion, Tim Orr. He's helped carry the team to where they are. Cade Root has been one of those guys too. He has crushed the ball ever since, let's put it this way, ever since the couple last games of the regular season. He has improved. The game that they beat the Mill Rats, he has improved since then. But you also have to give credit to, the other guys. You have to give it to Mike Sprocket, Santrell.
Brett Carson's another one. Brett Carson's another one that's just kind of done everything that they've asked him to do. Suddenly with Jerron Williams having to leave the team, suddenly, you had a lock leadoff guy, and now, and then he's gone. And they tried to use Santrell Farmer there for a while. His on-base percentage probably wasn't what you'd really like. So you take a guy like Brett Carson, who's got a fabulous on-base percentage, not really your prototypical leadoff hitter, but you put him at the top of the lineup, and the Paints just keep rolling through the rest of the regular season and through the playoffs so far. Brett Carson's been incredible.
I mean, I guess it also kind of helps when they actually brought back their old coach from the 2019 season.
That's a real interesting point because the Paints assistant coach left midseason, for another opportunity, and you can't blame the guy. That happens, and when that comes along, you got to do it. So the Paints made a phone call to a previous manager, not the previous manager, but a previous manager, Brian Bigham, and they've brought him in. And I think you're right. I think there's been some impact there with his experience in the league and him being able to kind of impart some of that to the guys. And if nothing else, it has given Jackson White, the Paints manager, it's given him an excuse not to have to come down to the third base coaching box and deal with us.
Oh yeah, some of you guys can be a handful sometimes. But yeah, like Brian Bigham, he does have experience carrying his team of the 2019 season to a win against Cape. But like Alton, this is only their second year, I think, as a prospect league team. They still have a bunch of time to really kick back and relax to the season. They're still pretty new.
They do. It's going to be a fascinating end. It's either going to be one or two games. Our plan is to be there for for
at
the
least
game
one.
Saturday, and our plan is to be there for the game on Sunday if necessary, and be able to come back and give you our final wrap up thoughts on the season after the championship's decided.
There are so many great baseball movies out there. At a recent Chillicothe Paints game, we've asked some of our friends what their favorite baseball movie is.
Hi, my name is Kylie Spangler, and my favorite movie is The Sandlot.
My name is Caleb Cox, and my favorite movie is probably The Rookie of the Year.
Hi, my name is Avery Seaford. My favorite baseball movie is The Sandlot.
My name is Brittany, and my favorite movie is Sandlot.
My name's Christian Spradlin, and my favorite baseball movie is Bull Durham.
Hey, I'm Donna Doyle. My favorite baseball movie is A League of Their Own.
My name is Garrett Thompson, and my favorite baseball movie is The Sandlot.
Hi, my name's Helen Norris. My favorite baseball movie is Major League. Don't give me all that stuff, darn.
Hi, I'm Jim Doyle. My favorite baseball movie is The Natural.
My name is Josh Nyheiser, and my favorite baseball movie is Major League.
My name's Kelsey Snyder, and my favorite baseball movie is a tie between For Love of the Game and The Sandlot.
My name is Ryan, and my favorite baseball movie is Moneyball.
Hi, this is Tim, and I'd have to say it's a tie between Bull Durham and Major League, with an honorable mention to League of Their Own.
Hi, I'm Quentin Roush, owner of the Prospects for Success, and my favorite baseball movie is Major League.
I got to say, my all-time favorite baseball movie, if I could only pick one to ever, watch again for the rest of time, I think I got to say Bull Durham is my favorite. And the reason is, more than any other sport, and I don't really know why, baseball movies aren't just about baseball. They are great analogies for life. Great baseball movies aren't just about what happens on the field. They're about what happens with the players, what happens with the players on the field, what happens with the players off the field, the way relationships on the field and off the field mimic each other, the way that the struggles, the ups and downs, the way that, baseball's a long season. Life can feel like a long time. You've got struggles, you've got victories in baseball. You've got struggles, you've got victories in life. You've got, you don't, in baseball, there's no clock. You don't know how much time is left. It's not over until the last out. Life, it's not over until the last breath. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why baseball movies just hit so different than other sports movies. But I gotta say, yeah, Bull Durham is absolutely my favorite all-time movie, baseball movie. You said Major League, and I gotta tell you, Major League is a favorite for me too. I really like Major League. Now there is one thing about Major League now that's kind of funny. It's when Jake Taylor. I'm not giving any spoilers here, so no big deal for people who haven't seen the movie yet. But if you haven't, why not? But Jake Taylor at one point in the movie is telling his ex-girlfriend and some of their very, very uppity friends that he's a baseball player, and they assume that must be making a lot of money. And he explains, well, I'm making the league minimum, and they're like, oh, like that's not much at all. And that's hard to understand today because the league minimum is way up there. But when that movie was made, the league minimum was $86,000 a year. All right, that is, and for baseball players today, that is a very low amount of money. So people who are watching that movie for the first time now, they hear I'm making the league minimum, and you may not understand why that sounds like such a low amount, because back then, 89 or 90 or whenever it was that movie was made, yeah, the league minimum was $86,000, and so it wasn't nearly the kind of $500,000 salaries that you see for minimum salaries today. But yeah, Bull Durham is my favorite. Major League is a great choice, though. It's another one of those movies that's just it just really it really kind of exemplifies. It's really just a great analogy for how life can go sometimes. Any of those movies, though, man, you could easily make a top 10 list of great baseball movies, and feel like you're leaving off some movies that really ought to be there.
I mean, yeah, you got Sandlot, the first ever Sandlot movie. My favorite thing is you can take 9-8 kids and they can all be friends, and you have this one baseball field. They all like the same sport. They really build that kind of friendship up a little bit, and then, yeah, I mean, they just want to play. They want to have fun. That's what I like about Sandlot. Baseball in general.
We have a very special treat for you now on the Prospects for Success podcast. We are excited to bring you an exclusive interview with Chillicothe Paints mascot, Chief Krazy Horse. Take it away, Quentin.
All right. What is your favorite part of being the Paints mascot? What do you do in the off season? Who is your favorite Paints player of all time? What is your favorite food at the ballpark? Thanks, Chief. We really appreciate your insights. We'll be back with one more episode after the championship. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you at the ball.